What's up, everybody? I decided to take y'all on a little ride. I want to show you something. Now, remember how I told you this accident happened on Mechanics Valley Road and how the roads are a little bit weird that her mom lives on, but it's basically the road that her mom lives off of. Well, technically, Mechanics Valley turns off at the baseball fields just before the bridge, but it's a straight line. You know what I mean? So it was Mechanics Valley that it happened on, but it was also a straight line from her mom's house. And I'll show you that. I'll also show you how there's no way she kept speed if she was passed out. And I'll prove that to you too. Now, I believe she did have cruise control in that car, but it didn't work. Trust me, she was telling me about that when she was trying to get me to fix her brakes. And I told her, I'm not touching your car because I know the games you all play. See, that was shortly before this accident or incident took place. And I already know what they would have done. They would have tried to fuck with that job some way, somehow, because they're not stupid. Her mom knows automotives, not a lot, but she knows enough. Um, and something would have happened, and then I would have been blamed for it. You know what I mean? So, I think my nephew messed with my freaking tire. Now all of a sudden I have low tire pressure, even though I didn't have it before. And I just put air in these tires, and they're decent tires. And I always check to see if I have anything in them. But anyway, like I said, I'm going to show you exactly how I know for a fact that the cops saying this woman was most likely passed out or searching for a cell phone. Really? You're not allowed to drive distracted either. Yeah, none of that makes sense, especially once you see the traffic pattern on the video. I know most people don't think I'm telling the truth or that I'm stretching the truth in my reenactment in the bathroom, but I'm not. That is exactly how it happened. The only difference is when I lift up the camera to show you at the end. I mean, you can clearly see it on the video, but I don't know. I just did that because I was getting into the story, I guess. That's the only thing that the camera doesn't do is lift up and do that. So, yeah, I gotta keep an eye out behind you in this fucking road. I'll run you over. One of the most dangerous roads in this part of the state. Now, this is the road that Tiffany's mom lived on and was coming, to Tiffany's house from. I'll show you all of that. Just wait, very patient. I won't show you exactly where their house was, but I'll show you where they were coming from and headed to all that. I should have done this a while ago. Now, also remember, my son was given some information and he was acting unstable towards his siblings. And I know that's the reason why his mother didn't do anything about it. She already had it in her head to use them. Right, that's a lackey right there. If she can manipulate him and get him to do what she wants to do, he can take the ball, she'll walk away with the money. Right, that's the way she thinks. This is where she was coming from. Stony Chase. Right there. Okay, now, she came all the way down this road. Now, my son had to have texted me before they left there because he can't text me without Wi-Fi. Okay? He only had a phone on Wi-Fi. Imagine that. His mom. Yeah, she wouldn't buy him a phone that she had to pay for. Right. She did everything that didn't cost her money. Well, that's a smart mom. No, no, no. You don't manipulate people into giving your kids things and that, especially when you're capable of paying for it, including their dad that does everything already. Everything those kids had at her house was because of me. It was not because of her. That house itself was because of what she did and used a false report to get it. So technically, that house was because of me also. Well, right. Who do you think pays for a lot of that? Me. She's not responsible to pay anything back once she gets on her feet. I am. Yeah. All right. This road that we're passing on the right, it's a four-way. There's one to the left and the right. The one to the right is Lums. That's the road Tiffany brought me down from 272 from her place. She deliberately took me around where the accident took place. Not only that, she called me before the accident took place. Yes, the police said that it went down around 9:34, 9:35 in that range, somewhere around 9:30. Tiffany called me at 9:20, which was, you all don't understand, it does not, this video is 6 minutes and I started it way before we even got on this road, right? Right. So there's no way, even doing the speed limit like I am, that you're taking that long to get down here. Right? Right. David texted me at 9:10, 9:15. So 10 minutes on that would have been around 9:25. And the cops were right here at Wawa. They showed up within 2 minutes after the impact because of the trauma nurse that was across the thing. This is where Mechanics Valley goes the other way, but see how it's a straight shot over the bridge? They had this marked off. Right. I knew that something was bad, but like I said, I could not get out of my vehicle and walk down here because Tiff would have followed. And at that time, I didn't know she had anything to do with this. Even with that video the kids made, my mind was not thinking about none of that. My mind was thinking about, oh, dang, what the fuck is what I was thinking. Now, like I said, you see how this drops down? All right. Okay, hold on up 1 second. You see how well everything's lit? How you can see the lanes? Yeah. Imagine that. Headlights do wonders. 9 o'clock at night? Yeah, they're going to have headlights. Look at that. This is where it happened at, right here. Okay? Right here. All fucking uphill. Of course, I gotta have a fucking car coming. She crossed the center line, went straight at the vehicle. That vehicle moved over into her lane. You know, like they were, had a mishap and they were gonna go right past each other in the opposite lane. As soon as she got close to him, she turns into his passenger side. Now, a driver that's planning on hitting another car but doesn't want to hurt themselves, what would they do? They would switch lanes. Why? So they don't hit their side. Her mother also would get paid for Tony. Do you really think that she cared about hurting him? No. You want to know why? Because Tony would not go against them about me. He would say some shit when everybody was around. That's just Tony. You know, he's slow. But when it came down to real shit and them trying to lie, Tony would tell them the truth. And he would call them, you lying bitch, you know damn well that didn't happen. Now, when he's around a whole bunch of people and they're just riffing and having a good time, yeah, he'll go along with some of the shit he says, or they say. But see, that's what you got to know about Tony. And Tiffany knows that about him. Tony wouldn't go against me unless, you know, a whole bunch of people were trying to manipulate his brain. Yeah, he had his mom doing that to him his whole life. I mean, can't really hold it against him because that's how, his mother gave him muscle memory to do things. Yes, your brain is a muscle. Yes, memory is part of that muscle. If you get used to doing something, that's where you get muscle memory. You're so used to doing it a certain way because that's either how you did it or somebody made you do it. Either which way, that's how you get it. But anyway, you see where we came out of at the main strip. Okay. This is where Tiff lived at. Okay, this is the first entrance. The other one let you out on 40. We could have went backwards and ran right into it real quick. Would have told us what was going on. Okay, now you see how much time it took, right? Now we're gonna take the trip that me and Tiff took when I picked her up. Imagine that. I'm such a bad person. I want to hurt her. I'm so mean. But she only trusts me driving her. She don't trust too many people doing that. Now all of a sudden, I'm a monster all because she doesn't like the fact that I told her she could get the hell out. That doesn't make me a monster, okay? That might make her mad at me. This is where she wrecked her car when that wasn't closed off. That was a road before they put that big old warehouse in. Yeah, she's been through this part 1,001 times. She did that shit on purpose, so I already know she did that. Got us in a lot of trouble. Yeah, that's how we ended up losing our home. Well, her sending David to school to try and tell CPS that his dad did things and this and that blew up in her face. And yeah, I took that as she was mad and trying to attack me. I didn't know it was that fucking deep. But then again, she'd been doing that since freaking we lived in Cedar Hill. And I even gave her the benefit of the doubt on all of that. Damn, I really gave this bitch the benefit of the doubt on a lot. Well, like I said, I was trying to keep this as no more relationship. I was trying, to use love and loyalty to show this girl she didn't have to do this dumb shit. It didn't matter. It did not fucking matter. See, I tried the same thing with Jen too, even though she didn't deserve none of that shit. But that one, it didn't matter what you did for her. It didn't matter how you treated her, what you did for her, nothing. It did not fucking matter. That girl would pull a fucking retard episode quicker than anything. And if you tried to talk some sense into her, dude, that just made it worse. Yeah, she just play to your face and then do it 10 times worse the next time. Almost like, hey, watch me do a backflip type thing. You know what I mean? When somebody would tell somebody they can't do something, they'll say they'll do it and take pictures, or do a backflip and take pictures, being a smart ass. Right. Well, she takes it a little bit differently. Same thing, but like if you catch her doing something bad, she'll apologize, act all sweet about it, act like, well, I thought this or that, which gives her an alibi or, benefit of the doubt. Then once you believe that, whether you believe it or not, once you accept it, because a lot of this shit I didn't believe, I just accepted, trying to get them, that acceptance shit that men accept, even though they know. Basically giving her benefit of the doubt. When they would say, oh, well, I didn't know what I was doing, or I did it because of this reason, they always had a whole book of fucking excuses. I mean, a whole fucking book. But yeah. It was like maybe 9 minutes on the thing when I first started on this road. Actually, I think it was less than that. I think it was like 11. Because it's only up to 1440. And I know it doesn't take 2 minutes to get down this road. Especially with this stuff going on. But you see how we went to the left when I was showing you where Lums Road was. This is Lums Road. See the four-way? Now we're back on what is called Bouchelle. That runs in. We're going back the other way. Right. This is the way me and Tiff went to her mom's. You see how it takes me around where the accident is? Right. Which meant she knew. For the slow ones out there, that means she knew. She called me before it happened. She also took me around to make sure it happened before we went to where it was, because she knew where it was. She knew exactly where it was. I don't want to hear that bullshit. Oh, it's mother's intuition. Blah, blah, blah. Bullshit. Oh, yeah? If females got so much good intuition, how come they keep fucking picking the wrong people and shit? Huh? If they got such good intuition, how come they can't go out to a bar and make it home safe? Right, because they ain't got good intuition. They don't. That's a fucking lie. Everybody gets feelings about stuff every once in a while. They don't get it all the time, and that's how things happen. Along those lines. Some of it, which most people don't want to believe, is fucking designed. They designed it, they planned it, they did it. See, that's the thing about people with BPD and BPD and all that. See? So it took like 4 minutes to get up here. Okay? Not no 10 or 15. Right. That means she called me before it happened. Just before it happened. Probably like 5, but she was a little. Now remember, nobody had called her and told her about an accident. Nothing. Okay? Not only that, I want to know if she was talking to her mother on the phone just before this went down. Even though she said she tried to call her and couldn't get a hold of her. I think they were talking about this before. Now, I don't know if they did it over phone or if they did it while they were in each other's presence, because they know that's a way not to put stuff out. Yeah, they sell drugs, dude. They know how to put shit in code. Yeah, her mom's sold fucking pills forever. Got her daughter on them and everything, man. I'm the one who got that shit at her. Well, I did get her off of it. The fact of her mom coming around, my brother coming around, she went right back to it. And what's funny is she was the happiest she's ever been when she wasn't on any of that shit. Literally. That's why she started gaining weight, because she was comfortable. Yeah, you don't gain weight like that and get all comfortable like that if you're being abused. That shit don't happen. No, the fuck it doesn't. Now, women can get abused afterwards, but there's a lot of details that go against that, or about that. One of them is the fact that most likely they got comfortable and started getting insecure about themselves or whatnot, and then that branched off all kinds of crazy things that happen. Because I can't speak for every male out there. All I can speak for is me. And a lot of them aren't even men. Okay? Right. A man, no matter what, he will not cheat. He will not do that kind of shit. I can't say he won't lie to his partner, because you kind of fucking have to. I tried not lying to my partner and telling them the truth, and they would just get mad at me. Yeah, it's almost like, they know that you're going to be in trouble with the man upstairs, so they try and get you to go against that. Yeah. Just like all this goth, satanic shit that brought in all this fucking fetish stuff and all that. That's what these people are doing on these islands. Well, we don't do it to that level. How do we know? And it doesn't matter if it's that level. You people, the ones that started doing that shit, no matter what year it was, that's why we have that in this planet. This is why people do that. Somebody must have been around that stuff going on and decided to not always, but take it one step further, which is how you get all this nasty shit.